If you've been in the self improvement community for a while, you may have seen or heard of this book, Deep Work by Cal Newport. And after reading about a dozen self help books, I found this one to be pretty overrated. The ideas presented in the book, a lot of them can be boiled down to common sense. And while I realize after reading a number of self help books, the information you can extract from each one you read sort of becomes less and less, even though the books might vary in topics. But this book has gained a lot of attention online, and I don't think I could recommend it. The reasons for that are, as I said, a lot of it can be boiled down to common sense, such as turning your phone off, putting it on silent, uh, putting yourself in an environment where you can work effectively without distraction, and not checking your emails in the workplace constantly and making yourself less available to manual useless emails. The first part of the book is good. The book's divided into two parts, and the first part says that the deep work as a philosophy and as an idea is good and economically profitable if you're able to implement it into your job. And all of that made sense, and you can agree with that. But then it was the second part of the book, which was not so good, and that was the implementation of deep work. The way you implement it, or that the author presents, it's not very practical, I found. And it's not very practical because a lot of the ideas are repeated. He just tells you to tighten up your schedule, to set aside time for deep work, and it's things that we already know, and so it acts as a good reminder, but not really as a next level idea of how to become super productive or anything like that. So, the practical steps of implementing deep work into your lifestyle, it's obvious. You set aside time and you do the deep work distraction free. You sort of don't need a whole book telling you to do that. So if your goal is to become more productive, I think you're better off reading a book like Atomic Habits. That provides a lot more little steps you can implement into your everyday routine to boost your productivity, whereas this fails to explain the steps of implementation effectively. Sort of a broad, sweeping implementation, which I know it's not possible for the author to tailor this to individual needs, but I found it too broad to be readily implemented into day to day life. And I know it's expected you have to think for yourself a bit of how this could work, but as I've said, it was just common sense of how to make deep work for you. I think there's far better books out there for productivity and how to become uh, economically valuable in the workplace as presented in this book. So overall, I'll have to say that it is overrated. I mean, you might be able to extract more value out of this book if it's one of the first productivity or self improvement books that you've read, but otherwise, it comes down to discipline and building the habit of discipline, setting aside time without distractions, getting your phone out of your hand, and concentrating on the task in front of you. So, overall, for the amount of hype and attention this book has received, or the attention that I've seen it receive, it didn't live up to it, in my opinion, and that's why I have to say that it's overrated. So, thanks for watching.